Just letting you guys know you can listen to my podcast No Bleeps anywhere you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel, link in the description. Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Sesh. Today we're talking about Charli D'Amelio and Dixie D'Amelio and honestly the entire D'Amelio family and how they are getting called out by not only the internet but Trisha Paytas. Everyone is really upset at the way that this family acted in one of their most recent videos. This video was titled Our First Mystery Guest, Dinner with the D'Amelios, and this was posted on their D'Amelio family YouTube channel. And this is basically a series that they're starting where they are sitting down to a meal, a literal massive feast that they have prepared by their personal chef, and they invite someone like a YouTuber or influencer or whatever to come and sit with them and basically have a dinner chat, like an interview of sorts, a big conversation. And James Charles was the guest for this episode. Obviously, there had to be drama, of course, like with James involved, right? Except James was not involved in any of the drama at all. It could have been anyone. People would have still found the same problems, but poor James for having to be involved by just sitting at the table. But during this massive feast that they had with their personal chef making the food for them, he was in the same room as them while they were eating. Like, the kitchen is connected to the dining room, so everyone gets a visual of what this meal was like. And I guess the girls are really picky eaters, and Dixie is dramatically gagging on some of the food and ends up throwing up some of the food. And Charli softly asked if they had dino nuggets anywhere, and the two of them, like, they're making faces as the chef is describing ingredients that he used to make the meal, and like, they're not big fans of what is sitting on the table, that is for sure. But, you know, props to James. He was eating that food, he was happy about it, and he was kind of calling the girls out for being dramatic and saying things like, are you guys serious? And really trying to keep the conversation going. If you guys have watched James Charles, honestly, in the past year, he's honestly really amazing at doing interviews, especially if he is on his channel and he's doing someone else's makeup. He's so good at keeping the conversation going and keeping it really structured and professional, and I think he truly carried this entire video. Like, he really carried it. And even at the end, the girls like didn't really know how to end the video, and James Charles took over and he was like, I'm gonna just do the outro, and he like thanked the chef, and he really just made this video a video. Otherwise it just would have kind of been all over the place, but he really brought some structure. And this isn't me being biased, like literally just go watch it yourselves and you know that James is really trying to keep this not dramatic, and the girls are being very dramatic about the food, and he is trying to keep this as a professional video. Now, the family got a ton of hate comments for being disrespectful, privileged, spoiled, and mostly because the parents were in the video as well and were letting them act this way, especially with them acting this way in front of the chef. People thought that this was really hurtful for the chef to witness, like, the girls be this dramatic and like grossed out by the food, and we're wondering like why the parents were letting them act this way. And in terms of food, I do know people that are like this. I know the people that are literally grown adults that are super picky and don't venture out and eat anything that wouldn't be on the kids menu, honestly. And maybe this will be like a lesson for them to learn about not acting this way, like not having this type of reaction to food that they don't like when other people are watching them, such as the person that literally made the food. You know, I have to give them credit for trying it, like, at all, because I know a lot of picky eaters don't like even trying new foods, but the reaction, I'm sure they're like a little bit embarrassed by some of the hate that they're getting right now. And they definitely are trying to pass it off as like them just goofing around as a family and them being funny, but that's not how anyone in the comments that has been kind of like nitpicking this video apart has really taken their reactions to the food. And we're gonna get into Charli's conversation about followers. There's a clip of this video going around on TikTok, and Trisha Paytas had a few words to say because she reacted to a video that someone had made of like all the ungrateful moments that the family had in this video. And in the video it said that Dixie, in front of the personal chef, was complaining about the food he made and called Charli out for saying, do we have dino nuggets after eating a meal a chef made when some people can't afford lunch? And then in the video, Charli gets into a conversation about her followers, and it's it's not a good look, and she's been getting called out a lot for this. This really wasn't just about them looking ungrateful for the food, it was also about this followers conversation. So Charli starts talking about how her 1-year anniversary of hitting 1 million followers on TikTok is coming up, and she wishes that there was more time. That's what she says. Because how cool would it be to hit 100 million 1 year after hitting 1 million? And James jokingly says to her, was the 95 million not enough for you? And she says, well, I was just like saying even numbers. And people obviously took this as her being ungrateful for her following or being greedy. And when Trisha reacted to this, she said that these girls were being very disrespectful. And since they're role models, they should be humbled. And Trisha acknowledged that they are still young. I mean, Dixie is 19 and Charli is 16, I believe. I guess it's really never too late to learn manners, and now is their time because they're really getting called out. I know a lot of people are just like, grown adults like Dixie should not be talking like this because she's 19 and that makes her an adult. But it's just like, this is such a messy situation because I just feel like how you act in these situations is how you've grown up acting and how people have let you act. And obviously the internet is over here like, y'all can't do this. Y'all cannot do this. This is not good. This is such entitled behavior. And people feel like they're just like taking everything for granted, taking their personal chef and their followers for granted. And Trisha says that this attitude won't get you far. James said in one of the comments on a TikTok, like a random TikTok that called out the girls, that Charli is so grateful for everyone that supports her. I was just joking with her when I said this. I don't like these comments dragging her. I feel like James has tried to be like a mentor for these girls and really guide them through like hate and all this stuff because he's literally been through the ringer. And I think he really tries to protect these girls. And I don't know, maybe he should give him a little lesson in bringing down some of the ego. I don't know, because, I mean, James Charles was called out at one point in time, acting like he's like all that in a bag of chips, and I don't think these girls are like full of themselves and like look in the mirror and like, I'm so beautiful, I'm so rich. I don't think that they are like that. I just think that whenever their mom maybe makes dinner or something like that, this is how they act when they like don't want to try new things or when they try something and they don't like it. And now that they are on camera and people are watching them, there's like more of a critique there. Maybe their parents didn't even know that this was not nice, or maybe they don't care, or maybe even the chef didn't care, but other people are about to tell them, that's for sure. I don't know. I think, you know, every household is very different, and I'm not like here trying to be like, this is how you should raise your children or whatever. I'm just saying that it just didn't come off very well in the video in terms of being grossed out about this personal chef's meal and then talking about the followers. Like, I'm sure that they didn't mean anything negative about this situation, but the way it came across was just not as maybe silly or goofy as they thought it was, and it was really eye-opening for some people, and people are now like, wait, what? You guys are maybe not appreciative. But you guys, these comments were really coming for them. Someone said, did Charli really say, do we have dino nuggets, when they literally have a chef who made her food? So disrespectful, I can't. Embarrassing Charli thinks making all those faces is funny, and embarrassing for Dixie thinking it's funny being over dramatic. Their behaviors were rude and inconsiderate. Stan James for actually being respectful. This is ridiculous. The fact that James is the one scolding them for their terrible manners, not their parents. They are lucky to get big meals like that, but the manners were terrible. Imagine if James acted like they are. He'd be immediately canceled. And I think that one is really true. I think if James was like gagging on the food and like making grossed out faces, I definitely think that he would be in some really hot water. Like, people would be so pissed at him. But also, like, another thing, Trisha is a pretty picky eater as well, so for her to call them out, I definitely feel like she's had some really bad reactions to food during like her mukbangs and stuff. Like, I feel like there's like a time where she tried to eat like a healthy salad with Joey Graceffa and she was just not having it at all. But I guess like they weren't eating it in front of the chef, so that's a little different. But people were really stuck on that one in the entire follower situation. Dixie has come out and she made a statement on Instagram saying, at Chef Aaron May is a close family friend and we love him and everything he does. I am so grateful. of everything I am given and every opportunity I have. He was standing behind the camera telling me to eat a snail, knowing I would have a reaction. In no way would I ever want to come off as disrespectful because it was all jokes. I have a sarcastic sense of humor that I showed over my time of putting myself on the internet, but I have all love for every single person I work with and would never disrespect anyone. Sorry, at Chef Aaron May. I don't like snails, but I love you. See you next week for the next episode of Dinner with the D'Amelios. So this is pretty much all that they have really come out and said about the situation. There are a lot of comments where people are just like really going in on the girls, and then there's comments of people saying like they don't deserve this type of hate. I definitely think this is something that they can really like learn from, and they shouldn't be canceled for. That's kind of ridiculous to get canceled for something like this, but I think next time they won't be acting like this. I don't know, I don't think it's like necessarily a bad thing that people are calling them out, because I think that this is something nice that they could actually learn from, like to be considerate of if someone cooks you food and you don't like it, maybe just, I don't know, push it around the plate or something. Don't really gag on it. I don't know. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this entire situation in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye guys.